Let's work my way back along these tabs at the top here. Teams. So we automatically have 2 teams, 1 per board. We brought them in. We can add and remove teams as we like. A lot of the time it is 1 team per board, but if you are different, that's easy to do. Now, our second sort of decision about how we want to use teams and use portfolio. Because the projects and the boards that I brought in automatically were using story points, it knows that I'm doing sprints, so it knows that I'm doing Scrum, which is here. If you're doing Scrum, you can pick your iteration length. It's taking that from the board as well. It's taking a lot of information that's already there. You can't really see it up there. That's kind of, that 2 is actually faded. And what that means is its portfolio's put it in for you, but you can put something over the top. It's also got my team velocity. Now, this is a demo system I've got set up, which means I can just put in the velocity at 30, and that's what I'm going to have for the next few sprints. The great thing Portfolio 2 does, because you connect to your boards, is it lets you, it looks at the past velocity of your past few sprints and averages it out, and it forecasts what your velocity is going to be. So if your team's getting better, it's going to project that over the next few sprints and allow you to get a few more story points done, which is fantastic. That would show up under this tab here, which we don't have. Oh, hands have gone up.
How many iterations does it average it out?
Yeah. How many back does it go, or how many forward?
Yeah,
it's the last 3, 5. It's the last 5. Yeah.
So are you using story points or time?
At the moment, this is story points.
Okay.
And I will show you the difference in just a second, actually. So yeah.
Epic level up here, the blue?
The blue, yeah, this is epic level at the moment. We can change this different, we can change what granularity we look at. But yes, at the moment, that's at epic level.
Okay.
So our teams here are Scrum teams doing an average velocity of about 30 points a week. And if we're working at a team level, we don't need to, that's enough for us. We just know that as a team, that is roughly how many points we're going to commit to over each sprint and move forward. You can actually add in named members into your team. So if I will come down here, I'm going to add myself, and I'll add a couple of other people, Lana, Harvey, and Emmett. I can actually add members into my team. And what that lets me do is, for each person, again, if I click on the name on the right-hand side, I get a little thing. I can put in when they're working. Are they working on my team all the time? Or maybe just 20 hours a week for my team? Have I got holidays coming up? Am I working part-time? Anything like that. If you're doing names, because normally if you're doing velocity, everything about Scrum teams, it's a team level, so we don't actually need to put people in. If you do put people in and they've got absences, it assumes that everyone in the team contributes to the same amount of points. So if there was 10 people and you did 100 points and one person was off, you would do 9 people 90 points. It's assuming an average if you're using points. If you're doing hours, then obviously it just works out. If I'm working 40 hours a week and I'm off for 2 days, I won't be doing 40 hours a week. I'll be doing the pro rata, whatever that is. I'll be doing, so it'll just work out your hours and how many hours work you're going to do, and all of your tasks will be estimated in hours as well, and it's just as simple as that. Yeah.
So you're saying that when it calculates the team velocity, aside from taking the past average, does it also take into consideration the future events that's going to be happening, like people going on leave and all that, and you forecast the team velocity based on that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's the great thing. If you're putting name people in and they've got holidays coming up, then it's going to assume that you're not going to do as much.
What if there's the same person who's working on 2 teams? Does it automatically do it like 50%? Or?
I'm so glad you asked that question. I'll just show you in a second. Yeah, there's an idea that we can do a shared team, which I'll show you in 2 seconds. Just while we're in adding people, the great thing about this, remember this is a sandbox environment, so if you're doing time, if you're doing a time-based team and you've got everyone's hours and things in there, and you are in red, so you know that you're not going to make your fixed release date. Remember our options were either to take some scope out or put more resources at it. But what you can actually do is you could go in and say, well, let's create if I had a new dev, I can create a virtual user. Not a real person yet, but just let me have a look. If I did have someone else in here at 40 hours a week and I go and recalculate my plan, does that make it better? Am I back in the green? Can I then go to my boss and say, you can either have it in the red, boo, or in the green with someone new? Yay. So it's allowing you to make those decisions when we go to people, because we're in this sandbox at the moment, and that's what one of the great things about it is. So just to come back to your last question, another new thing from Portfolio 2 that's really great is the idea that we can actually make our teams shared. We can create a shared team. And what that does is it literally lifts the configuration out of this plan and takes it up a level, if you like, back into core JIRA. If I just go back to the menu at the top when I went in to create a plan earlier, I can manage shared teams from here. Now, at the moment, Martin might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, it was taken out, and at the moment it's for ease of admin. It means that you don't, for each of your plans, have to go in and put everyone's holidays in twice. You can do it at one level. At the moment, it won't alert you if someone has overcommitted you in a different plan and your team happens to be here, but that's, I believe, to come. In terms of teams, you can either have a team level and you pick your velocity if you're using points, or you can add in the names people and actually put some calendars and stuff in with them, including virtual people if you want to have a look at what would happen if you had an extra person. Does it change things? And we can also make our teams shared, which lifts them up and means that we can reference them in other plans as well. So in another plan, if I've got a shared team, when I go to add a team, I can use an existing shared team and pick from my list of shared teams that I've already made elsewhere. So you see, in terms of the setup, the barrier to getting a plan up and going after that initial little bit of configuration, once you understand things, is hopefully not too high. Okay, yeah.
What's the scope of the plan? I mean, you've got it listed up there as an FY17, but is it product-based? Is it all of the products you're trying to manage, especially with the shared team possibly being between multiple? What's the scope of the plan?
It's a bit of string, I guess. I've got people who are using it from everything, who just want to use it for their small project team, and it might be, we'll talk about this more later in terms of how to get started. A lot of people possibly the first time try and plan for everything, and it gets a little bit overwhelming, and you just if you don't have the confidence in how it's working, you don't know, I've changed something and it's changed some stuff over here, I assume it's right. So you can actually have the granularity and what level you want to plan at can be anything, and you can have a plan for just this project at the same time as doing a plan for 10 programs of work over here. So there isn't a right answer. The same principles and the same you're doing the same maths at the end of the day. Like I said before, it's the actual, if you're doing some pen and paper, it's the same stuff it's just doing a lot of it very quickly for you. And we'll look at the scheduling algorithm, the types of things it looks at a little bit later. But there's not even like there's no right answer to that, but there isn't a better level of plan other than I would always start small to get your head around it and then step it up.